Memories of reuniting with Rick Martel at Vengeance. I think it was Night of the Champions in
Oh
2007.
yeah, that was the greatest. Yeah, you know, they took part of that. Something you have to look for that match sometimes. But so we were told what they wanted, and Mike Rotunda was the agent for that match, and I said, well, there's no point in being there too long,
Right.
because it's going to die, So we sat at ringside, and Rick said to me, he said, well, when are we going to go in?
Right.
I said, well, we'll just feel it. He said, I'll follow you. So we watched them at the end, and they hit Sarge, I think, twice. And I thought, well, this is it. So I jumped over, Rick jumped over, I slid under. And I told, who was it?
Deuce and Domino.
Deuce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I told Domino, I said, Domino, I got to be on the defense, so you're going to see me coming. You're not going to stand there. So come in and throw a punch. I threw a punch. He threw a punch at me, and I, boom, and he went down like that. And the whole building popped. I don't want to brag, but I'll say it was probably the biggest pop of the night. And then Rick took Deuce, and punched him a couple of times. It was only a couple of punches.
Right.
And then I kicked Domino a couple of times, and then he rolled out. But we got backstage, and people said everybody popped. The television popped. The guys backstage watching, one of the girls told me, guys stood up, and these all rested in the gorilla position, they all popped. I love it. I watch it once in a while just to put a smile on my face.
What led to the end of your WWE run?
The what?
Your WWE run. What led to you leaving the company?
Oh, I think as far as agents were going, I was actually asked to leave. The way I done my producer agent formalities, it wasn't do this. I want you to walk down to the ring. You put your left foot on the step first, and then you make a step. Then you put the right foot on the second step and the left. Yeah, everything was that. Just go in there, do what you think is right.
Right.
Right. Run by what you're going to do, and I'll tell you what you shouldn't do. And then if you make a mistake, I'll tell you. Because like some guys make a mistake and say, oh my God, that was horrible. I made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. You had a learning experience. Because I could have told you for 1 week not to do this, and you wouldn't know why. Now you've done it, and you can see where it's wrong. So you learned something tonight. That's the way I approached it, But evidently they want to know.
Right.
So you're not giving the fans what they want. Bruno lost the belt to Superstar in Baltimore. I was in the ring before Bruno left, consoling him. Tell him, go back to my room, and I've got a beer for you there, backstage.
Right.
And then I worked with Baron von Raschke. We were doing a 20-minute Broadway. For 12 minutes, the people didn't even know we were in the ring. And for 11 and a half of the 12 minutes, the Baron had my arm. And the last 8 minutes of that match was like a main event.
Isn't it crazy? The business has changed so much.
Yeah. But we could have gone out there. We were listening to the people and finding out what they wanted. Today you would have gone in there, you would have done 17 high spots, right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have meant nothing. People would be...
Yep.
If they were doing that.
Did it ever frustrate you watching the business when you were near the end of your career with WWF? Watching how the business has changed?
Yeah, it was just doing too much. less is more. So, you can only put 5 gallons in a 5-gallon bucket. Why do you want to try and put 8 in it?
Yep.
To me, it doesn't make sense. And the psychology, a lot of the psychology is gone. The guys, to me, that have the best psychology there is the Samoan boys. All
Usos.
of them.
Yep.
The Usos, the Roman, yeah. That's probably why he's champion.
Plus, he probably learned from the best. He's, off of Sika.
Yeah. So, all this, it doesn't mean it makes me wonder if they'd cut back a little bit, how much more business they would be doing. I would like to see a couple of old-time matches, mixed in with what they have.
I know.
And don't worry about the crowd reaction. They have to be, educated.
Yep.
As they've educated them this way. But a lot of people I talk to, they say, well, we don't watch it anymore because
it's not the same.
It's not the same. But you can, if you throw a couple of those things, like the girls, for instance, the girls used to try to wrestle like the guys. And now they have their own deal.
Yeah.
And they're hotter than ever. And that's what I used to try. I said, listen, we've got 8 matches tonight. We got 1 girls match. It needs to be different. But, oh no.
Yeah, I was watching something from the 80s. It was a Spectrum, Adonis and Murdoch. And I forgot who they worked. And it was just...
Probably Briscoes?
I don't remember. But it was very slow build. And
yeah.
It was so much more entertaining than anything today. It was just, they didn't do anything. They just did rest holds and worked on an arm for
Murdoch was one of the best at psychology.
Yep.
Murdoch, Killer Carl Cox, and they learned from the same guy that was out in Amarillo.
Yeah.
It was all psychology. Murdoch could have a match with an orange.
Throws a great punch
and get
too.
Beat. And get beat. Yeah.
What led you to leave WWF? What made you quit?
Yeah, I didn't actually quit. I was asked to,
okay,
leave. And Vince, actually, what I used to do, I had some apartments up in Connecticut,
right?
And I on my days off, I got to keep busy. So I was cleaning up leaves and whatnot, and I get a call, from the office. Vince wants to see you. I said, all right, but it's going to be a couple of hours because I'm working. Working for myself. So I go down there and we go in the office and chit-chat a little bit. And he said, Tony, I'm going to have to let you go.
Vince told you? It was, okay.
Yeah, and they didn't walk me out of the office like they usually... Well, I'm an independent contractor anyway, so they're not firing somebody that works there. So, okay, that was all right. I would have liked to maybe have got another year. But then I had my properties there, so I just segued right into my properties, and I only had to work 6 hours a day on them, painting and, doing painting up apartments and, doors on buildings and replacing windows, faucets, stuff like that, toilets, anything like.
Right.
So I kind of enjoyed it, and then I said, well, shit, I need to enjoy myself. I'm getting closer to the dirt nap. It might be another 20 years. But.
Hopefully. What was Vince like when you go into his office and it's just you guys around? Is he what is the real Vince like? Tell us something that we don't know about.
He's just a regular guy. Like I went into his office and it's spotless.
I can imagine. All right.
It's absolutely spotless. It's like, well, what is this? It's like a show home. And he got up and he went, oh. I said, are you all right? Because I guess the joints are hurting a little bit. He's I'm almost as old as him. But I never got that close to Vince because he had his deal there, and that kind of wasn't my business thing. I can't stand to be inside too long. I just get tired and
you want to be on the road. You want to be
comfortable. Yeah, I like to be outside.
After you retired and looking back on the business, is there anybody that you never had a chance to work with that you wanted to work with?
Yeah, Pat Patterson.
Pat?
Yeah.
You never work?
I work with him, but not against him.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I would have liked to have worked with Pat. Yeah, I think we would have had a hell of a match.
Did you get the same satisfaction as an agent that you got from performing, or not really?
Yeah, when I seen the young guys, implicate what I told them, put into their repertoire.
Right. You got satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, that's great. Yeah, and then some guys, they wouldn't listen,
Right.
I was down at CWF, when...
down in Florida?
Yeah, Steve Kern was running the show there, and Dusty was there too. And I just popped in to say hello, and they said, Tony, we got TV tonight. You want to do a couple of matches? So I said, oh, okay. So I done one match, good. I done the second match, and it was a little bit of implication from the outside there, but I tried to make it, so the referee didn't see anything. And it went off all right, and Dusty came by. He said, that was fucking great, he said. And then the next match was a tag match, and I was explaining what they need to do, and one of the guys is telling me, oh, no, if we do this and this and this. I said, no, that's not going to work. So they did it his way in the ring, and it was just scrambled eggs.
Right.
It was horrible, and that was annoying. There were a couple of guys like that thought, they've been in the business for 3 months. Oh, we know what to do.
Yeah.
And they didn't really go anywhere, But guys that listened, even, Randy, was in the business all the time. And I'd watch his match, and then I'd tell him stuff, and his dad would talk to him because his dad seen the match live on TV. And his dad would tell him almost identical to what I told him, But we didn't, I wasn't getting anything out of it monetary-wise as much as they were, but it was good that they listened, and it was even better that, it happened the way I seen it was going to happen.
Right.
It's all timing, a lot of it,
100%.
Yeah.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.